in the realm of technical analysis. Silver is testing the support level of $24.70. If this test is successful, silver will move towards the next support level of 24.50. Well, the interesting thing is that it bounced back up. So let's go to the upside. On the upside, silver needs to get back above the 20 EMA at $24.95 to have a chance to develop upside momentum in the near term. The next resistance level for silver is $25.30.
Did it break through that last night? When I was recording the video, it was at 25.30.
Yeah, and right now silver's at 25.42.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we're in a nice healthy area. And after that, the next resistance level, as you can see here, if silver settles above the resistance of 25.30, it will head towards the next of 25.60, and then move above at that afterwards. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of people, when they see prices rise, this is also one of those things that I think is a thing that's talked about in behavioral economics, where you see the price rise and you want to jump in with everybody else because they're talking about silver. People don't really talk about assets until they start doing really, really well price-wise, paper dollar-wise. But honestly, when people are talking about it a lot, for someone who's new, they may get upset if they get in and they put all their money in at that point, and then the price corrects on them. Honestly, what a lot of people should maybe consider is just dollar cost averaging, and similar to what you do with your retirement account. You don't even really think about it. You're just kind of like buying just over and over again every 2 weeks without even thinking about it, whether the ticker symbol goes up or down. Now, this isn't investment advice, but for most people, they say that humans are the worst investors, humans are the worst traders. And that's because we just behaviorally, when we think that the time to get in, we think the time to get in is when the prices are pretty much too high. And when the prices are low and they're crashing, that's when we want to avoid it. But honestly, it should be the opposite. So, but if you're a little bit more skilled, there's something that I do want to let you know about, and this is called the money weighted return. You might also have heard it called IRR. I'm not going to go into the technicals of it because it's just too technical, but the main point of it is, or the main idea behind it is, instead of dollar cost averaging, just putting, let's say, $100 every week into silver, what you might consider doing is, if you understand where, you're thinking about timing and technical analysis, and you understand fundamentals, and you want to make that bet, what you could do is just take a whole chunk of cash and wait until prices just crater, and then throw a bunch of your money into it at that point, and then just let it ride. So the idea behind money weighted return is, there's actually a return that you get based on when you put money into an investment. So they take a look at cash inflows, cash outflows of an investment, and that basically is your return. So, or that basically sets up the basis for your return. So think about it this way: you put $100 into something that is $100, and then it goes up to $101. You made a 1% return. But imagine if that thing craters down to $50 and you've just been holding it. Sure, you haven't been dollar cost averaging, but you put all that money in and you're saving it all up at $50, and then you just let it ride and goes all the way up to 101. Your money weighted return is a little bit better than someone who just gets in at 100. So if you want to learn a little bit more about this, I highly suggest that you read a little bit more about it. But if you just want to learn another way, or to get an idea or an introduction into another way of getting into silver, and
you should take his potential class.
There's a course coming out. I'm just kidding.
Yes, you should do like a 6-week. You should do like a 6-week course on this stuff. Honestly, like, I would sign up for it and just like charge like $9.99, to enter a 6-week course. Like, that would be so cool.
Well, honestly, I mean, it'd be pretty cool to like talk about it, but
Is that
honestly,
that's considered like investment advice though? If you did like something like that?
well, so there's a difference between people who are trying to become financial advisors and people who are becoming quote unquote financial coaches. So that's why you see people who technically, maybe some might assume they're financial advisors, and but they can get away with making courses because they are considered financial coaches. So there aren't really any regulations around that.
Okay. You
But
should do that, dude. Like that, because you have so much knowledge. Like I don't know, just
yeah, I
just
mean,
throwing something out there, but
yeah, no, it'll be a cool idea, but
maybe
at this
later.
point, yeah, maybe later. I think also I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I'm not at that point yet in my. I'm also just like, I don't know about teaching.
No, just
But
like a one-time course of just like just like the basics, the fundamentals of like the more technical side of things. You know, you could even
yeah,
start off with like, what is a resistance level? What does support level mean? Like stuff
right.
that simple. Because honestly, I've had to explain that to people. Like
Mhm.
resistance is what it's trying to break above, support's what it's trying to stay above. You know, like a
Right.
lot of people just get into silver from just more of like a maybe a prepper or SHTF. But that
Mhm.
also leads me to something that you talked about is humans are the worst investors. And that
Mhm.
reminded me of like the VCPMI, like that artificial trading robot that they use. Like, do you look into that type of stuff? Like AI types of trading and
So there is, so I actually have a friend who is really into coding, and he's even talked about this before. I personally am, I would, I could see it working if you don't solely focus on technical
mm,
analysis, but you also get data from fundamentals. But still, almost in the same way that you can't beat the interpretation of a human when it comes to medical diagnoses, still to this day people are still trying to figure out how can we automate, a physician's role. Like, if we get all these vital signs, can we automate this so a bot can do it?
hmm.
But at the end of the day, no bot or no robot is better than an actual physician when interpreting all these things that come into
Yeah,
play. And same thing with a quote unquote money manager. At the end of the day, someone needs to make an interpretation based off of all of these things. But if your bot is trained based off of historical data and historical data only, then there may not be,
mm,
it may not have that data there that you may be thinking of in a different way that
that is
informs your
crazy.
interpretation.
What a great metaphor to like. Wow, dude, that was really good because
Well,
like
yeah,
that makes so much sense that I didn't think of it that way as well.
yeah. I mean, honestly, like I've been around a lot of like physicians and doctors, and I've actually asked them that, like, is there this fear in the industry that, bots may take over? And at the end of the day, bots can only do so much. That interpretation, you need an actual human being to put the pieces together. Maybe hundreds of years down the line they'll figure it out, but as of right now, that interpretation is needed, or it can only be done by humans.